Hello, everyone. Here's your weather hazard briefing for Thursday, February 20th. Our round of moisture, mostly snow so far this morning, will continue to wind down later on today, especially in the early part of the day. Now, there is going to be some wind around, but with it being so warm, blowing and drifting probably is not going to be a widespread or even a major impact, but something to think about. As we go through tomorrow and into Saturday, we'll see some light smattering of snow showers over the mountains. And then we get a 1-2 punch Sunday, Monday, and then into Tuesday. With the much warmer weather coming our way, we're going to have to probably worry about more rain than snow across even some of the middle elevations, the mid slopes, with that particular 1-2 punch coming through our area. So this morning and for today, we have our low pretty much shifting right along the Utah, Nevada, Idaho borders, shifting to the east and southeast a little bit today. And that's kind of pumped up quite a bit of moisture over the area, and that's kind of kept us on the slightly warmer side with this particular storm system. Looking at our weather risk outlook, most of the impacts will be generally over the Snake Plain, the Magic Valley, and the highlands outside of the Central Mountains. There'll be some continuation of some light snow here and there. And that moisture Friday and Saturday, not much to speak of. Pretty much Sunday, Monday, everywhere will have some impacts. Right now, we're focusing over the Central Mountains, especially Galena Summit northward into the Sawtooth and the Stanley Basin. The main issue just about everywhere is going to be the fact that with the warmer temperatures, we're probably going to see some rain on snow and some snow melt. We might see some of these fields, some ponding of water, some increased flows on some of our creeks and streams. Not necessarily talking about a flood event or anything like that, but just something to keep in mind as we head into the last few days here in the month of February. So how are things shaping up for today? Here's our main area of snow, basically across the Snake Plain, back into the Magic Valley, down into the South Hills, Eastern Highlands, Southeast Highlands. As we go through the day, you'll see that quickly winding down. Probably a little bit of lingering snow anywhere from Burley back up to around Blackfoot, depending on which model you look at. This one has this lingering moisture more towards Burley, but don't be surprised if some lingering light snow in the early afternoon is even as far back as, like I said, Pocatello and Blackfoot. But that will continue to wind down. Just some lingering light snow over the southeast corner for this evening. And that pretty much ends the threat of moisture, at least the more widespread threat of moisture, until we get towards the end of the weekend. So going back to the rest of the forecast, here's that snowfall for this morning, and this is taking into account what has fallen overnight. A little bit better chance of a couple of inches once you get away from Rexburg and Idaho Falls down towards Pocatello, Rockland, American Falls. And some of this with temperatures overnight has actually been melting, so probably to get some better accumulations, we're going to have to get some heavier snow here over the next few hours. Doesn't mean that the 2 to 3 inches is off that much at all, but certainly we might see things on the lower end depending on how much it continues to melt over the next few hours. Otherwise, the better chance of mountain snow is south of the Snake Plain and down towards the Bear River Range as well. And that's where those stronger winds are for this morning across the Magic Valley into the Treasure Valley. Also, some of those northerly winds dumping out of the Central Mountains and across the Divide, but still the really high gusts over 35 miles an hour are going to be up in the highest elevations. And for this afternoon, just some smattering of light snow across the area, and winds do continue to come down. They'll be strongest during the early afternoon before quickly shutting down after sunset this evening. Temperatures for today, you'll notice pretty much everywhere mid-30s, except up in the higher elevations, some low 40s as well. Stanley's going to be at 35 for a high later on today. So even if we get snow accumulating this morning and some snow showers later today, we're going to see some melting with these warming temperatures. And in turn, for tonight, that's probably going to lead to some fog and or low clouds across the Snake Plain into the Magic Valley as well. Something to think about beyond that. For tomorrow morning, you can see those temperatures down in the teens and 20s. The colder spots are down near zero, if not just below zero for tonight. But tomorrow, we are a little bit cooler, except when you get down across, say, from Pocatello westward down towards the Utah border. It's going to be even warmer in some of the higher mountain areas. Chalice, Stanley, again above freezing. Up near Salmon, above freezing. Closer to 50 once you get over into the Treasure Valley for tomorrow afternoon. Going into Saturday, we continue to kind of build those temperatures up a little bit, some more 40s, even up into the central mountains, those valleys in the low to mid 40s. Again, closer to 45, 50, Burley, Oakley, over towards Twin Falls, and again over towards Glens Ferry and Mountain Home. Going into Sunday, we just keep adding more and more temperatures, but look at the jump from Sunday to Monday. 50 in Pocatello, 40s, well into the 40s for quite a bit of our valley locations, Stanley into the 40s. So when we talk about this system coming in Sunday into Monday, again, we're going to have to worry about some of these higher elevations getting some rain on top of some snow. It's that time of year we have to worry about, rain on top of snow, some snow melt, maybe some very minor sheet flooding or some increased flows on some of our waterways. But again, nothing to get terribly worried about, it looks like, at this point. So when we wanted to go back and look at some of the moisture coming our way during that period, and we wanted to just kind of give you an idea, not necessarily looking at amounts, but looking at the probability of some snow amounts. The bulk of the snow is not going to be in the eastern highlands or the southeast highlands, and you'll notice this is looking at the probability of more than 5 inches. That's for the 72-hour period going Sunday, Monday into Tuesday night. So you'll notice there's a pretty good probability up around the area bordering Yellowstone, about a 50 to 60% chance. Down in the big holes, the highest probability is about 40%. Sending this over to the central mountains where we're expecting a lot more snow, we'll send this above 12 inches for probability during that same time frame. And you'll notice really just some of the spine of the Sawtooth, some of the surrounding areas, the probability of over 12 inches, we're looking at 40 to 50%. And again, that might be just a little bit high, but it is definitely going to be a wet snow. That's for sure what that comes through. Now, since we've been talking about warmer temperatures, let's look at the moisture content, whether that's rain or we're talking about taking that snow and melting it down to whatever the water equivalent would be. You'll notice up around Island Park, the eastern highlands, we're talking about probabilities generally setting around 40 to 60, maybe 70% once you get over into the Tetons. Down in the big holes, about a 45, 55% chance of more than a third of an inch. You can see those higher amounts over the central mountains because we're expecting more moisture. Let's take our probabilities here and up this to about 1 inch. And you'll notice still looking at about a 40 to 50% chance, 35, 45, 50% chance over the spine of the Sawtooth and up towards Banner Summit. If you crank this up to 1.5 inches in terms of the probability of amount of moisture with this particular 3-day rainfall event, we're talking around 20% in those same areas. So certainly some areas are going to be adding to the snowpack. It's going to be a wet snowpack, adding some wet snow to that snowpack with this particular round coming into the weekend and the early part of next week. Have a great day. Check ahead to those road conditions if you're driving early on Thursday, and have a safe day out there, everyone.